Hello, everyone. This is Carla from Rehan, Allahwala's World of Connections. And I am here today to talk to Mohammed Usman Gulzari from Islamabad, Pakistan. And we're going to talk about his life, his work, and his passions in life. Normal, you've heard me say that many times. Having said that, I want to remind you that this show is sponsored by the Institute of Peace, which is an online organization promoting peace throughout the world, one conversation at a time. Usman, can you please introduce yourself?
First of all, thank you so much, Carla, for inviting me. It's an honor to be on your show, and I have watched you doing fantastic work by teaching people how to speak fluently in English, by doing interview. So I'm thank you very much for inviting me. So about myself, as Mohammed Usman Gulzari, I have been a corporate trainer and coach, especially in the area of presentation skills and communication skills. I love watching movies, documentaries, reading books, and I have two daughters, wonderful brilliant daughters, and I love spending time with them. So this is a little about myself.
How old are your daughters?
My youngest one is about 3.5, and my eldest one is about 8 years.
8 years old. Wow.
Yes,
How
8 years.
long have you been married?
It's been like 10 years.
Wow. That's
Yes,
a long time.
it's been a long time. And when I just, realized this year that now it's going to be 10 years, and, the time goes by like the blink of the eye.
Have you enjoyed married life?
Oh, yes. I feel that I've been blessed one because when you just mentioned this topic, so people have this kind of an uncomfortable feeling, and people have this kind of a uh, that drowsiness on their face. They're not very excited talking about it because they have some certain dark sides of it. So, but I feel blessed that I am happily married. I am so happy, uh, with two beautiful daughters. I'm very happy with my wife. So yes, I'm very happy and lucky to be
Does
married.
your wife work?
My wife helps me, facilitates me in my work. As I mentioned, that I'm running my organization. It's with the name of the Missing P. So it's a training organization, and my wife supports me. My wife helps me, especially in the dimension of content writing. So she brings up with some amazing content, with amazing ideas. Uh, so this is something that she does. So yes, she works with me.
And what kind of, well, tell me a little about your work. What do you do?
Yes. So it's my dream work. I say it's a training work. Mainly, I conduct one-to-one coaching and also trainings, mostly on in the subject of communication skills and presentation skills. Or in one sentence, I would say I help people to overcome their number one fear, that is public speaking. So you understand, like right now, I am talking to you, and people, when they come on stage or they are talking online, so there's a natural feeling that they are feeling having this nervousness. So help people that how to, realize that nervousness and how to overcome it. And I also teach them that you cannot, you can never eliminate that feeling, but you can always overcome it. So this is something primarily I do.
How is one way you suggest that people overcome the feeling of nervousness?
Okay, I said that you replace that nervousness with the word excitement. And my golden advice to people is that you might always feel that nervousness, and there is no way that you can eliminate it or you can, eradicate that feeling. So what you learn to do, you just overcome it. How do you do it? by showing excitement, by bringing a smile. That's also one of your goals, that I want people to speak English with a smile on their face. So when people have a smile on their face, when they are, enjoying this thing. So there's another thing. One, I am smiling, and second is people never know what's going inside my heart. So just forget about what's happening here. Concentrate on how you are looking. So with the help of body language and non-verbal cues, I facilitate people to give their best.
Why do you say a smile is important?
See, if you are not smiling, if we are not smiling, then maybe we are serious like this. So in body language, we understand that there are two kinds of like body language. One is closed body language. Second is open body language. So when we are happy, when we are relaxed, so our body language expands, and smiling is also an expression of expansion. And when you are tensed, when you are depressed, so our body language naturally goes into that state, right? That seriousness. So this is the reason I feel is that to have that open body language, we must smile, and we also use gestures with the help of hands. We should not overdo it, but we must use hands as well.
How do you get people who may be feeling, oh, I'm so scared, to smile during a presentation?
See, I just tell them that this is so natural. Like Mark Twain said, that there are two kinds of speakers. One who say that they are nervous, and second who are the liars. So everyone has this feeling of nervousness. Everyone is scared. So I just said it's okay. So what I ask them to do it, that in your mind, concentrate of not what you don't want, but what you actually want. For example, most of the time we are thinking of the negative outcome. Oh my God, if I start going, people would judge me. I might forget my words. So people are concentrating on these things. So if you just concentrating, like if you just replace these thoughts with the excitement that I believe that I'm going to do a good job, and if I don't do that, I will learn from something from this. So when you have that feeling, positive feeling, you can easily put a smile on your face.
Many people are afraid to make a mistake. And because of that, they get scared when they're even in front of one person they don't know. How do you help people change from that fear to saying, okay, it doesn't matter if I make a mistake, I am going to do this?
Right. See, Karla, there are two levels I facilitate people. First is their mental state. So in that mind side, in the psychological part, I would say it's the mindset and the skill set, and both are very important. But I would say 80% is psychology, 80% is mindset. So in their mind, I ask them that think of that you are not going there to receive anything. You are not going to take good wishes, or you don't need anything from them. You are going there to give, because you have prepared so much. Like if a person is doing a charity, for example, so he has so much confidence. So if you have put so much effort and you are giving something of value to people, so concentrate on it. So when you are a giver, so automatically you go into that confidence stage. And secondly is about skill set. I say that most of the reasons why people don't feel confident, why people are scared, because they exactly don't know what they're going to talk about. What they're not prepared for that. So I learned this, Mark, from one of the speakers. I believe Darren Rackroy said it, or someone else. He said, "Don't be a vegetarian speaker. Don't be a vegetarian speaker. Be a meaty speaker. You must have some meat in your presentation." So if it's just veggies, if it's just without meat, and what is meat basically is the statistics, is the stories, is the reasons, examples. So when you have this stuff, you can easily you know give a good mark.
What do you mean, don't be a vegetarian speaker?
Don't be a vegetarian speaker means that opposite to meat. There are two types of food. One is meat in Pakistan, especially when we go for some, for example, for some wedding, for some feasts. So people always serve them with some meat like mutton or beef, And if it is not there, people would feel that they have not been served well. So what do we mean by presentation? That we must have meat in their presentations. And meat is basically the statistics, the stories, the examples. As compared to the vegetarian speaker means without preparation, just say those common things that almost everyone knows. So if you just go there without preparation, that means exactly about being a vegetarian speaker.
There are this is a controversial subject, meat
Okay.
veggies, but there are people who are vegetarian, and if you told them to put meat in their speech, even if it's an allegory or just a word, they're going to think, I'm not going to put meat in the speech. So how do you explain to them what you mean when you say meat in speech?
Well, yes, you are so right, and I now understand if a person is vegetarian. So I would say, first of all, I would say I'm sorry. I did not think about that way, because mostly when I'm talking to this thing to people who are almost everyone is, they take meat. So I would say that just take it to the example. It's not personal about that. You should not be a vegetarian or something. So I would say I would not go into that debate. I would just say I'm sorry, I did not being considerate about it, and it should have been, and I will move on.
Okay, maybe I didn't ask that correctly. What's another way of saying that so someone would not be offended if they are a vegetarian? How
I
would
would say become prepared, like preparation. Put so much efforts in preparation. That's the another way of saying this. So put so much efforts, like because what I was referring to the meaty speech was about the statistics, the examples, the stories. This is what that stand out any that would stand out any presentation uh, from the common one. So have good preparation.
okay.
Yes.
How long have you been doing this?
Carla, it has been like 7 years. When I started the missing team was back in 2010, and first 2 years I worked as a marketing consultant. So I used to go to the organizations and asking them for small marketing campaigns. I made brochures for them. I used to write the copywriting for them. Uh, but like for past 8 years, I've been focusing on the trainings and the presentation skills. I started this presentation skills working on the presentation in 2013. It's been like 7 years now.
7 years of this. What
Yes.
were you doing before then? Were you an
Uh,
entrepreneur? Were you working for another company?
well, the missing key, as I mentioned, it's my own organization, so I am self-employed. You can say.
Okay, before you
Yes.
began working for yourself, what did you do? What inspired you to do this work?
Well, I was working for like my last job was for a publishing company, for the book publishing company. It was back in 2013, 2014. But already I started my work in 2010. So at that time I needed a job, or maybe it was not gaining me that much cushion of money. So I needed a job during that time. But then I realized that maybe I would not be able to do justice with my business. So after a year, I resigned from that organization. What inspired me to do that, I remember it was the love at first sight in 2009. I went to a hotel, someone invited me. And to be honest, I went there to eat, to have that tea and that high tea. So in that, with the love of high tea, I went to that hotel. But I remember when I went there, I started listening to the speech, which I did not have any intention to. But while that presentation stopped, he finished his presentation, and everyone was going towards that IT section. I was glued to the seat. I kept sitting in the seat and I just kept thinking, wow, what a profession it is. He has so much knowledge, he's learning, and he's also contributing in someone else's life. So I would say it was the first love at first sight, but it took me about 2 3 years to believe in myself that I can also do that. So it's been a wonderful journey that I started doing it after like 1 year, and then it's been like now 10 years of this. I also started the missing P and I got married the same year, 2010.
What, okay, what was the main thing that made you say, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to dedicate my life to?
Well, I would say it has been a different answer at different stages of life. When I first started, it was one of the reasons that I lost my job. I will not like go into the detail that why I lost my job. I was working for a company as a regional manager, and then one day that project was finishing. So the person asked me, CEO asked me, that Usman, please submit your laptop and give us your mobile phone, and you are no longer will be working for us. So I remember that was a time that hit me badly, and during that time, I just decided that maybe I would not like to do a job one again in my life. So because it was very uncertain for me that one day, one very fine morning, to just get the notice. So during that time, I realized that I have to do something on my own, but I don't know
Do
what.
me a
So
favor, you are going in and out. I want you to talk a little louder and consistently a little louder. Sometimes I can hear you clearly, and other times I cannot.
okay, so now I would. How is it?
Now you're fine.
Okay, so I will try to make it consistent.
Yeah.
So I was talking about that one thing that propelled me and what helped me decide what I would do. So in the beginning it was marketing consultancy, and the later I decided for going for the training thing all in one.
Who did you go see that made who got you so excited?
What got me so excited because yes, because it was because I used to see people because before like 2009 I did not know that this kind of thing exists. So when I watched that person, when I looked at that person, and he was helping people, contributing a lot, so I fell in love. And then I met a couple of person who actually helped me, and I call them the mentors. And without them, I could not have done what I'm doing today. And one of the person, you know him very well, and that's the reason that I feel so honored to be on your show. Is Kamran Rizvi. So Kamran Rizvi is my mentor for past. Has been my mentor for past 8 years. I first met him in 2012, and yes, that person inspired me so much when I met him and came to know about him. So it's been a great journey.
Who is that person? You didn't.
Kamran Rizvi. Kamran Rizvi.
Have I spoken to him?
Oh yes, Kamran Rizvi. You have been
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
very regularly, very regularly. Maybe the way that I pronounce him. How would you pronounce his name?
Kamran Rizvi.
Kamran
But
Rizvi.
you said it like Kamran, or again, that's why I'm saying keep your voice up because you're not.
Yes.
So
Okay.
Kamran Rizvi was an inspiration
Mentor,
for you.
inspiration. You can say.
And who else was an inspiration?
Who else was my inspiration?
Have you
Well,
actually spoken to Kamran face to face?
oh yes, I have written a book with him. It's called Wings to Fly, with the name of Wings to Fly. And that before Corona times, like I believe that I used to meet him at least once every month, or maybe twice every month. And I've been blessed. I think I have met him more than 100 times. I would say at his beautiful home, and sometimes office, sometimes a coffee shop.
He's an interesting man. Who
Oh
else?
my God, he is a well of wisdom.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoy talking to him.
Yes.
Who else has been an inspiration to you?
Well, there was a person. His name was Abdul Wahid Khan. Sir. Abdul Wahid Khan. So he was in Pakistan, like when I met him, he was about 90 years. He was like 90 years old, and now he is no more in this world. Like he is now a late Abdul Wahid Khan Sahab. So he was my inspiration, and the reason was because at the age of 93, he used to teach us, talking about the power of subconscious mind, the power of self-esteem, the power of believing in self. So I was so inspired to meet him. So he was my inspiration. Before I met Kamran Rizvi, I met him. And after that, I met Kamran Rizvi in 2012. And then throughout, for past 8 years, Kamran Rizvi has been my mentor.
I could understand that. Anyone else inspired you on this path?
See, these were the people who have been personally inspired me. And there are so many people now that I would say that they personally inspire me. I look up to them. For example, Brian Tracy. I hope you have heard him. Brian Tracy, uh, Zig Ziglar, Anthony Robbins. So these are the motivational speakers that I always try to listen to them. And then there are so many people who have written books. So indirectly have inspired me. There are a lot of people. The list goes on.
Now, did your wife also agree with the people who have inspired you?
My wife, sorry, my
Did
wife.
your wife also is your wife also inspired by the people who have inspired you?
Well, yes, like my wife is a huge tribute to Kamran Rizvi, and she's also been inspired from him. And sometimes we have a different taste. Sometimes I like a book, she does not like it. She says that what's new in that book. So we have a different taste. But talking about the mentor, so she agrees that and she understands that Kamran Rizvi has been a great mentor for me, and she's also been inspired by him.
What is your most favorite topic to inspire people to do?
My favorite topic when I'm talking to youngsters, like teenagers, for example, 13 years, like or maybe 18 years. So my topic is, I call it like how to stand tall in overcrowded marketplace, or how to differentiate yourself. So mostly I talk about goal setting, setting your vision, having a picture of future. Because what I have read and what I have learned that 97% people in the world that they don't know what they want to do with their lives. So when I'm talking to adults, so mainly my topic is communication skills and presentation skills. This is the topic that is most close to my heart.
Excuse the yawning. It has nothing to do with you.
Mm.
It has a lot to do
Okay.
with the day.
Yes, you told me that it has been a very tiring day for you.
Yeah, I was up working on something very
And there's
early.
also a sandstorm at your place.
Excuse me?
Sandstorm? You got a sandstorm at your place?
Yeah, we had a pretty big thunderstorm right before,
Thunderstorm.
and the dog needed to go out, and he was like, I'm not going out until that storm stops. So he's a determined little boy when it comes to something.
Okay. Okay. Nice.
Now, I what age student do you usually work with?
Well, mostly I have my students who are elder than me. Mostly because I work with corporate organizations, so mostly their age varies about 35 to 40 years old. But I enjoy working with almost all the ages. whether they are young, whether they are old. So I love interacting with people.
You spoke something, or maybe I'm getting you confused, but I thought you liked working with youth and very young people too. Am I
Yes,
wrong?
you are right. I mentioned that I usually work with corporate clients who are, elder than me, and I enjoy working with them. But I personally like to work with students who are younger and who are sometimes because they are looking for the ways that what they want to do with their lives. So and they maybe I facilitate them in their path, in their journey towards self discovery and what they want to do with their life. So I love to work with the students as well.
Where do you find your students? Do you go to schools and interview them?
Mostly, like I have worked with the universities. Universities ask me to come to their places, to the premises, and deliver a keynote speeches or some kind of motivation talks. Schools, there are so many schools who have invited me for their students, and now these days online there are so many youth pages, people who are working actively for the development of youngsters. So I work with them and you know live sessions through live sessions. So I often do that.
Do you do a lot of live sessions like you're doing now?
Um, Please come again.
Do you do a lot of live sessions like the one we are doing now?
Yes, yes, I do conduct the live sessions as well.
Do you go on Facebook Live or how do you do that?
Well, it's mainly someone invites me. Like right now, I'm talking to you. So mostly it's kind of an interview. So they ask me to come on their channel and then they ask questions and then we share the thoughts.
Okay, if I was at a college and I was a student and I came to you and I said, I can't figure out what I want to do with my life, it's what would you tell them?
I would ask them that what whom you appreciate. Like please write down 10 areas, uh, 10 areas which which you really appreciate. Maybe 10 professions. What you like to watch, what you like to read, what you like to maybe someone who inspires you. So I would ask them that without going into that thing that what inspires you or what is your passion. I would not go into that question, but I would ask you that what you like to be indulged in, that you never have the sense of time while you are doing this. So while having this conversation, they sometimes come to me that I love watching sports or maybe I just watch a movie, and then we go into that conversation, and then they we find out, right? You wanted to say something?
Okay, once you found who is your ideal client then?
My ideal clients are organizations, the corporates who are looking for the solutions, especially for the sales professionals, for the people who would like to talk with people with confidence, clarity, and quality the presentation skills. So mainly the professionals who have a lot of knowledge, who have the degrees as well, but they when they talk to people, they are not very confident. So these are my ideal people, ideal clients.
And what is it when you get up in the morning that motivates you to get up and go to work?
Mainly, what motivates me to go to them?
What motivates you in the morning to get? We all have mornings where you want to just stay in bed and sleep,
Yes,
but you got to get up and you got to get moving. What is
yes.
it that motivates you to get up and get moving?
It reminds me of a quotation by Simon Sinek. He says that working hard for something you don't like is called stress. Uh, Okay, I hope you are done.
I,
Okay, working hard,
I am
working hard.
very, very sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. He says that I working hard for something we don't like. We don't like is called stress. Working hard for something we love is called passion. So I think what I am doing is really close to my heart, and that is something that excites me, helps me to motivate. But there are days when, especially during the Corona days, when I did not have those days, did not have those projects in my hand. So there was like days when it was hard for me to get motivated. But again, it helped me. Like what I started doing, started writing those ideas, started connecting with my vision, that what I really want to do. So that why that purpose, I think that is something that motivates me to get up and doing what I am doing today.
Okay. Do you have any words of wisdom that you would like to tell our audience?
Like I often say that walk away from 97%. It is basically the quotation by Jim Bond, a great motivation speaker. So what I have understood that 97% people don't know what they want to do with their lives. So find out what exactly you are passionate about and walk away from 97%.
Okay, throughout the world, everyone wants to be motivational speaker. What sets you apart from all others?
Like I understand, and this is something for past, especially past a couple of years, a lot of people have become motivational speaker like me. Uh, what sets me apart is my area of expertise. So I'm not a master of all trade. Say you ask me different questions about leadership or team building. So maybe I have some insights about them, but I would not give you advice like I'm expert in that. So my area is communication skills and presentation skills. So what sets me apart when I remember I went to the organizations and they said, Usman, can you conduct this program for a senior leadership in this area? And I said, I'm sorry, well, I would love to do that, but I don't have the expertise in that. I would recommend someone else. So that was something that I remember, and people appreciated this thing that no one has ever come to me and refused us that they cannot do certain things or they would not like to do certain things. So I would say that I have, so I have picked up one or two areas and I start and mainly focus on those areas.
So, as a motivational speaker, what is it that you want to pass on to those you speak with?
What you are based on? Sorry.
What is the most important message you want to pass on to everyone who comes to one of your presentations?
Right. Like there are so many ideas, but on the top, as I mentioned, that 97% people don't be in that 97% people. That's one of the things. Second, whatever you do with passion. Do with passion. Third, don't be a victim. Be a victor. Don't let these circumstances. We always face challenging times. So this is one of my favorite advice that try to be a victor. And when we become victor, what I read that the vict and victim, vict comes from the victim and victor. They both comes from the word vict, vict, which means that if you let the circumstances overwhelm you, then you become a victim, and if you soar above the circumstances, then you become a victor. So try to be a victor, not a victim. That's one of the things that I share with people.
Yeah, but maybe someone doesn't understand what a victor is. How do you explain what a victor is?
Well, I would explain it in a way that when you let circumstances, when you let the situations around you to bog you down or to overwhelm you. Uh, we always have the difficult situation in our life. So when you give the remote control of your life to someone else's hands, you become a victim. But when you take it in your hands and you say that, okay, whatever the situations are, I'm going to fight with it. Like as long as I'm alive, as long what I am able to do, I would keep doing it. I would not allow these circumstances to walk me down. So, keeping the remote control of life in your own hands, this is what I call the victory.
Okay. Do you feel that you have said everything you wanted to tell me?
Well, I really want to say it again that it has been an honor. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I've been waiting for this conversation for a long time because I think we scheduled last week, and you are doing a fantastic job, doing a lot of help for Pakistani people. I say, and my all kudos to you. So,
Thank you very much.
keep doing the fantastic job. Well,
Thank you for coming and speaking with me. I want to thank our audience for being here and listening and watching, and also the Institute of Peace for sponsoring this conversation. We are going to end now. Thank you, people. Let's wave goodbye and see you later, people. Bye.
bye. Thank you.